Hi boys and girls, I've got another little video here just to help you with the timesing by 10, 100 and 1,000 or dividing by 10, 100 and 1,000 that we've been doing. So just a wee reminder of the process. So here I've got a very wonky place value grid. So we've got our decimal point here, which is always our reference point. So we've got our units, tens, hundreds, thousands, and we've got tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands. So if we were to have the number 54, it would look like this, 4 in the units and 5 in the tens. Then we've got our tenths, which is the other side. So that's when we've got like 54.2. We'd have 2 in the tenths there. I've put the hundreds on there, but we're not worrying about those too much just now, but just so that we know what that looks like. So when we're timesing by 10, our numbers get bigger and they jump one place up the place value chart. So if we were to times 54.2 by 10, each of the numbers is going to slide one place to the left. Now remember, the decimal point can't move, so we're just going to jump that one over the top and we'd get 542. Okay, let's do a couple more examples. So take some of these off. So if we had 45, I'll write some underneath here so we can see it. 45.3, put the wee 3 on there as well, and we were timesing it by 10, multiplying by 10, we bump them all up the way. So remember, when we're multiplying, it gets bigger. So the 4 is going to bump along, the 5 is going to bump along, and that 3 is going to jump to the other side of the decimal point. So our answer there is 453. So then it gets a little bit trickier if we were to times a bit further on. So if we're timesing by 10, we're bumping it one place. If we're timesing it by 100, we're actually bumping it 2 places. And remember, the easy way to remember is those 2 zeros, which gives us the clue that we're bumping it 2 places. I hope this is all coming flooding back to you now from when we did it in class. So if I was to take a different number, so let's see, like 13, and we were going to times that one by 100, we're going to bump it 2 places to the left. So we're going to jump 1 and then 2. So that 1 has moved from the tens up to the thousands. And the 3 is going to do the same, bump 1, bump 2. Now, we've got a problem here because we've got some gaps that we need to fill. We can't leave the units and the tenths blank. So we actually need to fill these with some zeros, like this. So that would be our final answer. So we've got 1 in the thousands column, and then we've got 300. So that's going to give us our final answer there. So the other thing that we need to do for our jobs that we've been doing is timesing by 1,000, which is exactly the same as just bumping it 3 places. Okay, so then the opposite way is when we're dividing. So if we're dividing by 10, the numbers are going to get smaller. So if we start with the number we've got here, which is 1,300, if we're dividing it by 10, everything needs to move one place to the right because it's getting smaller. So move that one over, move that one over, move that one over, and move that one over. And we've got 130.0. We can actually get rid of that 0 because if there's a 0 in the tenths column, we can just ignore it. But we must make sure there's a 0 in the units. So we've got 130 left over there. So if we were to divide it by 10 again, we'd bump it 1 more place down. Remember, we're dividing, the number's getting smaller. If we were to divide it by 10 again, everything can move down again, and we've got down to 1.3 now. We can ditch that one in the end. 1.3 all the way down there. So remember, if we're multiplying, it's getting bigger, so it goes up the place value chart. And if we're dividing, it gets smaller, goes down the place value chart. And the way to remember is if it's 10, it's 1 bump. If it's 100, it's 2 bumps. And if it's 1,000, we've got 3 zeros. So we're moving 3 places. Okay, I hope that helps a little bit. Drawing out a place value chart and cutting yourself out some little numbers can be helpful to give it a go. I look forward to seeing how you're getting on.